Hey everyone, this is Light, and welcome to my tier list update for the MO Luna patch, and we're going to be including the balance patch units as well as a preliminary kind of thing. So before we get into it, if this is your first time watching any of my tier list videos, I'll explain the tiers. So basically, S plus tier are the most broken units in the game, and you want to first pick them pretty much whenever you can, depending on your playstyle. They have the highest priority. S tier are super strong units with little to no counters that you pick alongside the S plus. Basically, you pretty much don't want to first pick them. And the A tier is basically really good units that you pick only when you're prompted to pick them. So like as counter picks or as like responses, they're really good and they will be very good in their role consistently. And for B tier, we have uncommon and inconsistent units who, even though they might seem good in a spot, they actually don't perform that well, either being RNG based or otherwise. For example, Landy, 30% chance to lose you the game with their guiding light, or Bihu, if he misses a burn, he loses insane amounts of DPS. So yeah, that kind of inconsistency lands these units in B tier. And C tier units are just units that are just not good, and you really shouldn't look at them when you're thinking about RTA. And we separate cleave because all of these units are like encompassed into cleave, and I think cleave is really strong right now. Like cleave as a whole, I'll say cleave is easy S to S plus tier. Cleave is very strong in the meta right now. So I feel like it's pointless to rank these units individually. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's start with the newest addition to the roster, ML Luna. Instantly S plus. So this unit is ridiculous. Her debuffs are insanely threatening, and I think people underestimate this unit because they are tunnel visioned on countering her S3. I get so many recommendations, people telling me to just pick a cleanser, just pick MO Achates, just pick Holiday Euphine. Well, that doesn't really work because one, there's a toxic Luna build where she goes Edikas and just spams her S2 on no cooldown, and those cleansers are useless against that. And second, it makes you pick suboptimal units. So right now, cleansers are not very strong. For example, if I pick ML Achates and the other person picks Celine, I'm going to die because it's just a free proc. It's just a free proc for Celine. Or for example, if I pick Holiday Euphine, if the other person has Candy or a Euphine, I'm just feeding them for free. So yeah, these kinds of units, they're not good. Luna makes people think these units are good, but when we look at the whole draft, they really don't do anything. Because Luna is not just her S3, Luna S2 is insane. Like it chunks you, it defense breaks you. This unit is insane. And she's also good in cleave, she's good in aggro, she's good in standard, she's good everywhere. To be honest, I feel like I've never beaten anyone who drafted Luna plus Ryan and Emma Ludwig. Still figuring that out, but yeah, she's broken in every playstyle. She's good in arena, she's good in Goober, she's good everywhere. Like absolutely broken unit. Highly recommend pulling her if you haven't already. Easily S plus tier. My best counter to her is pre-ban. I've been playing RTA. The past week I played maybe like 30 to 40 hours of RTA, and I left her open to experiment and everything, and I can confidently say I'm going to pre-ban this unit. I can't deal with it. It's beyond me. Cleansers don't work. Cleansers are not good. So yeah, Luna easy S plus. And another unit that came out recently, Immortal Wukong. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about Wukong. We're gonna put him in B plus tier because his anti-crit is kind of cope. Like, sure, he doesn't take much damage from Laya. Sure, he doesn't take much damage from like Emohaste and Senya, but like he kind of dies to debuffs. And he doesn't really counter Janua, because if Janua crits him, he's dead. So yeah, this unit is cope, and his forced AoE S1 doesn't really help him because it makes him trigger things that he doesn't want to trigger. I feel yeah, he had decent potential, but he's just a bit too inconsistent for me, so I don't think I can rate him anything higher than B tier, unfortunately. So yeah, those are the newer units. So let's talk about some placement changes. First, we're gonna move Zio down from S plus tier because you don't ever really first pick Zio unless you're cleaving. So I feel like there's no reason for him to be this high, and he's not even that effective anymore because, you know, Guiding Light openers, like Luna being very resistant to him, like he's just... yeah, there's no reason for him to be S tier. Because, yeah, you don't first pick him unless you're cleaving. So, let's see. Besides that, we're gonna move atywin up from A to S tier. Atywin might be the most valuable knight right now because in the state of the game is extremely debuff heavy. And a knight that can cleanse like atywin is extremely valuable, and his debuffs are crazy. Like defense break, stun, fast atywins murder people. Like defense break is almost necessary to kill really tanky teams. So he's really strong, and he's really good with Death Dealer Ray. And speaking of Death Dealer Ray, we are moving him up from S to S plus again because there's a new Death Dealer Ray build and people are going back to mega tanky, like slower 240 speed with like a little bit of effectiveness, and they're using Guardian Ice Crystal to make him a very well-rounded unit, and he is a complete menace. Very hard to deal with. Basically dealing with him is hard because he makes his team do so much damage, and his debuffs are so threatening. And honestly, MO Sharon and Moon Bunny don't counter him enough. Like they're like when you pick Death Dealer Ray, he doesn't even have to press his buttons to be value. And units like Albedo make his team so tanky that units like Celine don't even counter DDR that hard anymore. So yeah, he's really strong, but it's not the same unless you have Guardian Ice Crystal. I highly recommend that artifact if you're playing him. It's the best Soul Weaver artifact, and it heals you way too much. So yeah, Death Dealer Ray, very strong. Very hard to deal with. S+, easy S+. I honestly think he's a better first pick than Laya right now. So next, we're gonna move Aravi to A tier. There's a lot of white damage in this game, and Aravi is pretty good against white damage. She is very hard to kill. If you need a unit that doesn't die and can also injure, she's right there. She's right there. She's very tanky, and she can injure. So yeah, that gives her decent value in this meta as a 4-5 pick, unironically. And next, we're gonna move Adin down from S tier because realistically, you only early pick Adin if you're trying to cleave or something, because this unit has way too many weaknesses now. So yeah, she's just not worth picking. So next, we're gonna look at the balance patch units. Sage Vivian, I predict Sage Vivian is going to be an insane 4-5 pick, so we're gonna move her up to A tier. Immunity to debuffs is insane. However, she cannot be higher than A tier because you can't early pick her because she gets screwed over by Solitaria. So she'll forever be a 4-5, but that's not a bad thing. Rylith doesn't get stripped anymore, but Rylot is Rylot. He's still gonna get hit and die the same way. Like, sure, you can pick him into sea lilies and stuff now, but I think he'll still have Rylot syndrome, where if he just gets hit, he's dead. And then... Actually, so I actually want to move... I want to move Spez to A tier, actually. I think Spez with band protection has become insanely strong. He already was decently strong, but with band protection, you can pick one stunner in slot 3, and then you will always have the Spez combo. The issue with Spez is that he's a combo unit, but now you can make sure you get your combo by slotting your stunner in 3, so that makes Spez really strong. He's really strong against Knockwall because Knockwall doesn't affect him. Wait, he has evasion, yeah, so he's very resistant to things. And he guarantees that like slower tank teams die as long as you have a stun. And even though 15% is an issue, he's consistent enough, I say, to be A tier. And aside from Spez, we're actually gonna move Archdemon Mercedes up to A tier, which is a little strange. I know a lot of people meme this unit, however, there is a new build for her that is very low RNG. So the build for her is fast, maybe like 240, 250 speed, with book. And you just use her purely for her seal. Like, she's really effective against Emil Haste, Senya, Janua. Like, build her fast, soul burn with S1, and then boom. Guaranteed value from her seal. She's actually a decent late pick debuffer. But you just need book. Like, abandon her as like a damage dealer carry, you want her as like a support debuffer. So yeah, actually a very decent unit with that build. And we're also going to move ML Achates from B tier to A tier, because Achates has really good cycling and she has a cleanse on a low cooldown. And with the way the meta is, there are a lot of dangerous debuffs that are spaced out. And her cycling and her low S2 cooldown is really good for dealing with that. So yeah, she's actually one of the better... She's probably the best cleanser right now. In terms of like keeping you safe, because like cleansers like Hand Guy, they're kind of one and done. If you get stripped, you're dead. But Achates, she's decent, good cycling, good cleanse. She actually heals, so yeah, pretty decent Soul Weaver for the meta. So also let's move. Okay, Fire Araminta has been getting some traction, but I don't think I can move. She's definitely decent. But I don't think I can put her in A tier because this unit is way too inconsistent. Like she can either completely roll a team and stun them forever, or she misses everything and dies. And we don't really like that kind of unit. So I think she's decent, but we can only keep her in B tier, to be honest. And aside from that, I think that is all. Yep, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope it was informative and helpful, and see you next time.